anyone. If Michelle Hohmeier calls you, texts you, any way tries to reach out to you and says, hey, I have an idea. Let's plan a conference. Run. Run the other way, ignore the text or whatever. No, I'm just kidding. I got to tell you, when we started talking about this, of course, we talked about it for a long time, and then we thought, you know what, we've got to make this come to fruition, and let's get the ball rolling. So guess what? The very last part of February or the first part of March, we met and started writing down all kinds of notes. And so here we are. But let me tell you, every time we got together, we prayed. Every time. Now, I'm not going to say we didn't say some bad words along the way.
Not in our prayers.
Yeah, not in our prayers. But everything just flowed. It was just crazy because when I would make a call and ask someone, would you do this? Sure. You know, Secretary of State, all these, it was just crazy how it was falling into place. So I say crazy, but it's not crazy when God is in it, right?
Amen.
So anyway, to Him be the glory. We had a motto from the very beginning, go big or go home. And so we hope this is big. We hope you're enjoying it. And just thank you. And may God bless each one of you as you're here today. Thank you. And Michelle, I love you. Even though we answer each other all the time. But here we go.
All right. All right, I wrote some words. I'm not too big on this, but I had to write them down. I'd like to thank my friend Jan Farrar for being the organizer of my crazy ideas. She's been a great friend and my political cohort for nearly 10 years now. That's why we get along so well. Who would have thought we'd be able to pull off an entire conference together in just 4 short months? It was seriously only by the grace of God that this conference happened. He has been our guide from the beginning. He provided all, including help when we needed it, and this conference wouldn't have been possible without the help of all of our great volunteers. Especially Brenda Hopper, who jumped in about a month ago, and then Diane Jordan, who's always been there at the end of a text or a phone call, and Darcy Lilly, who just came in about a few weeks ago and has really helped us organize this because she's done a lot of conferences in the past. The Lord has also been the force behind the creation of We the People of Missouri. But how did We the People of Missouri begin? Before we had a name, we were simply a group of ladies fighting for medical freedom. We were a mix of veterans and young blood. We had been going to Jeff City for a little over 2 years pushing legislation when 2020 happened. And we know what happened then. Many of us organized or attended health department protests, as well as other protests against the tyrannical policies of the day. Kate did a wonderful job down there with P&G and really helped the folks out down there in avoiding the jab and protesting against what they were trying to do down there.
Yeah.
Eventually, we knew we needed to appeal to a larger audience and became more than the health freedom activists. We needed to work to protect all freedom and liberty. And by the winter of 2020, We the People of Missouri was born. We've had some wins and some losses. We've experienced the pain of differing opinions of friends and the loss of those friends from our group. It's been hard, as you can tell. But barely in a year and a half, we have grown from about a dozen women to over a dozen chapters across the state. So who are we today? In your welcome packet, you'll find the brochure, and it has our mission statement, what we do, and an about section. And we take these statements seriously in the belief that our beloved America is on the precipice of falling. And without strong convictions and unwavering spirit of independence, liberty, and freedom, we are doomed to the same fate as many great nations before us. We understand time is of the essence, and we don't wear rose-colored glasses in our approach to these efforts, and we will not acquiesce to the powers of the establishment just to get a bill passed or someone of a certain party elected. We are truly a nonpartisan group of patriots who are resolute in our passion to fight for the liberty and freedom of all Missourians. We realize regaining liberty lost is an uphill battle, and will take many like-minded patriots to take that hill. That's why we engage and work with other organizations across the state. It's only by coordinated efforts that we will win a battle, much less this war. Some believe this type of battle, through legislation and candidates, is futile. Neither I nor we the people of Missouri will give up this strategy until there is no other choice. But in order to be successful, we must remember who holds all the political power in our form of government. It's not Washington, it's not Jefferson City, it's not our county governments or our municipal governments. It's each and every one of you. The people hold all political power, and our representatives, our civil servants, can do nothing without our approval. If that's the case, how has our state, our country become such a mess? Because we continue to approve their behavior by ignoring their voting record and in turn placing them back into office simply because they are the conservative choice. Of course, it didn't happen overnight or all at once, for the enemy is wise and crafty. The plan was slow and methodical, and for generations, our understanding of the people's power over our government was perverted into thinking it was their job to take care of us. We were told we must vote for a certain conservative party in order to save our nation. After all, it was easier to live in the lap of luxury of this great nation and just cast a ballot every 2 years than to exercise our rights. That takes time and effort, and we were having too much fun living our own lives. I was one of those too. In August of 1776, in the State House in Philadelphia, Sam Adams said these words: "In a state of tranquility, wealth, and luxury, our descendants would forget the arts of war and the noble activity and zeal which made their ancestors invincible. Every art of corruption would be employed to loosen the bond of union which renders our resistance formidable. When the spirit of liberty, which now animates our hearts and gives success to our arms, is extinct, our numbers will accelerate our ruin and render us easier victims to tyranny." That's pretty prophetic, considering that's what we are in now. But let's not just blame the left, for as we'll hear from one of our speakers today, the right is just as much to blame. And had they not been overconfident in their power and control, most of Missourians would still be asleep. I'm grateful for election fraud and the virus because it has wakened another sleeping giant, the conservative American. Those who didn't know what was going on and thought they were doing right because they were voting conservatively, but now no longer. They understand. Some. We're still gaining. How many of you were unaware of the extent of corruption in our government before November of 19 or March of 2020? Now that more of us are seeing the truth and reviving the spirit of liberty, we must once again stand united against anyone who would try to force us into the slavery of ignorance. We must grow in our knowledge of the form of government our founders created and why. We must realize a certain moniker behind the name of a candidate does not mean they support liberty. We must not allow the establishment and our elected civil servants to tell us we just don't understand. We may not understand the full depth of the corruption in Jefferson City, but at lunch we'll be given some more pieces to that mysterious puzzle. But before those secrets are revealed, we'll have an opportunity to expand our knowledge and learn how to read the legislation they propose and how to engage them when in opposition to that legislation. We'll also learn some details of our Missouri Constitution, of which we may be unaware, and hopefully be inspired by the power one individual holds, even when minimized by society. I hope and pray throughout this day no matter how long you've been in the fight, you will gain some bit of knowledge and wisdom today. For knowledge is power, and we don't know what we don't know. Through continued education and insight into what our founders envisioned for America, we can boldly take a strong stance against the growing atmosphere of compliance, political correctness, and totalitarian mindset. We may not be as free as we once were, but America truly is seen as the last bastion of freedom in the world. We must protect her at all costs. We must lift our voices to let the enemy know we are awake, we are united, we are powerful. Thank you.